I think it's beneficial for troops overseas to receive care packages from everyday Americans because they can be away from their families for up to 6 months at a time, and that's really hard. And it's really motivating for them to know that they're constantly in the hearts and minds of the Americans that they're risking their lives every day to defend.
I think it is extremely beneficial to send care packages to soldiers and other service members because it lets them know that people back home do care, lets them know that there is support for them, if not for the conflict itself, that there is a reason that we continue to do what we do, and that we're not being viewed just as baby killers, that we're not going back to the ill will that we saw in the 70s. And it also gets things that we wouldn't see in a combat zone very often, some little nice things like shampoo and little bits of candy that we can't necessarily find there, little bits of home that let us remember what we're doing is worth it.
I know at my high school I was involved in our Key Club, and every year we would make Christmas cards for the soldiers, and as well as at my church we would take up collections for the soldiers, and that money would go to care packages that we would send overseas.
Show appreciation for soldiers in a variety of ways. People greeting soldiers coming back from deployments at the airports, sending Christmas trees to deployed soldiers, sending tons of letters from elementary schools. But I think the most important ones, and the ones that we view as touching us the most, are the really personal ones. There was an instance I remember one day, a group of 10 of us went out for lunch to Applebee's, and when we were getting ready to pay our check to go back to work, we asked the waitress for the checks, and she told us that they had been paid for to include tip for 10 people at Applebee's. And when we asked her who had paid, she indicated that the gentleman actually leaving at that moment had paid for it. And even with us literally jumping out of our seats and trying to run out the door as fast as we could, he was gone before we could do that. And that is probably the biggest thank you that I have ever received in support of what we do.